listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255. The New Orleans Talk Network.
What is New Orleans Talk Network? It's today's hottest topics with an added flair. You get ready because the conversation will be hot and better yet, mobile. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app available on Android, iPhone, iPad, and you can listen to us on the web at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com. Write down our talk line at 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255. Interactive and worldwide. That's what we are. Join in on the real conversation and tell a friend about the New Orleans Talk Network. Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Joe Lapinto, and you are watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
What is New Orleans Talk?
Turn the volume up. Turn the volume up. We can't hear it. We can't hear it. Turn the volume up. Good morning, good morning, good morning. You are listening and watching Church Without Wall on the New Orleans Talk Network. We come to you every Monday morning, 11 to 12 Central Standard Time. We hope that you certainly had a great week. I certainly did. When I woke up yesterday morning, that was a great day, regardless of whether it be raining, sun, or whatever it may be. It's a great day when God let you be able to crawl you out of your bed with some of your health and strength. You may not have all of it, but as long as you got some of it, it's a great day. And I'm delighted this Monday morning to come to you. My name is Charles Stewart, co-host Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams, and we have a special guest in the studio this morning that I'm extremely excited about. The one and only, the legendary Bob Frost. He's with us today. And our topic today going to be Remember When. We're going to go back old school. You know, they're having all these dances now. Everything you look old school this, old school that. And so that's going to be our show today. But before the show, we get started, we want to say hello to everyone that watch us and listen to us. We want you to know that we love you and we are praying for you. I know I have a few friends that is ill, sick in the hospital. And I want to do a special shout out to Wyona Watson, who watches us every Monday morning, and she look at us. So we're proud of all our listening audience. And we pray that you went to your church house this week and you learned something that you want to share with your brothers and sisters. Remember, Church Without Walls is the name of the show. And remember, you are the church. Where you go on Sunday morning is the church house. So we ask that thou would share your view with us. You can call us 504-341-8255. We also have another number, 653-999-1808. If you'd like to get in on this conversation this morning, you're most welcome. But before we start the show, Dr. Williams, you have something you want to say in open statement?
We're good.
Dr. Williams say good, but before we go in the program, I'm going to ask him to say a little quick prayer for everyone that's sick and shedding. Everybody needs prayers. I need it. You need it. So, Dr. Williams, give us a quick prayer, and then we're going to get this show rolling.
Most Holy and Everlasting Father, we come under the watchful care of your eyes, realizing that you're looking over us. There are some folks who are on their bed of affliction at this hour, And we are petitioning you before you and your holy throne of angels, that thou would look down upon them with an eye of pity and a heart full of mercy, that thou would touch them with the healing power of your hand. Oh God, my Father, touch them right now, because we realize that you have hands that are large and small. They're large enough to fix the world in the sky, large enough to spring the stars into the darkness, but also small enough to reach down and take clay and mix it with spittle and anoint a blind man's eyes and told him to come seeing. Small enough also, Father, to take one finger of a man's hand and write on the walls of a king's palace and tell him that his kingdom's going to be divided between the Medes and the Persians. We know that you have all power. Be a lawyer for those behind the prison wall. Be a doctor for those in their sick room. Whatever you are, be it for them this morning. Realizing, my Father, that you say, I am everything that you need. This blessings we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank Dr. William for the prayer. And we always want to be respectful to our audience, because this show was designed with you in mind. We realize a lot of people sick and a lot of them shedding, and they need somebody to give them some kind of hope, Mr. Frost. They need somebody to tell them something. We had a show last week. When we talk about, we want to tell you the thing that you don't know, but you think you know, but you should know.
Right.
And we talk about that, and our listening audience, we want you to know, and we thank New Orleans Talk Network for giving us this opportunity to, the church had us, when they first started their program, they would, they started radio broadcasting. That was for the members that couldn't make it to church. And people said in the hospital, they were trying to reach those, but this show here, we realized, the people can't come to the studio, and we realized some are sick, but they have a lot of live bodies out there that need to hear this stuff. They sick, and they don't know they sick.
That's true.
So
very true.
This show designed to try to give you knowledge that you need, and we need it along with you. That's why you need to call us and share your views with us.
You know something, Charles? You said something that a lot of people don't pay attention to. Everybody that's in the church house is sick.
Yeah.
Everybody's sick. Something wrong with them. If they ain't sick something physically, they're sick spiritually.
Yeah.
Because everybody in the church got medicine in their pocketbook.
Yeah.
Everybody's got something. Everybody is sick.
Yep. So, Dr. William, thank you for bringing that to our attention. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Bob Frost, a gentleman I've been knowing, and I know this whole city got to know Bob Frost. He's a legendary broadcaster. I mean, he started out with WYLD. He went from WYLD, had a great show there. He went from YLD to WBOK, and he did a tremendous great job there. He was so good that WSMB recruited him over to it was uncommon at those days, a black broadcaster didn't get the microphone at an all-white station. Bob Frost was one of the ones that broke the ice on that. He went from from WBOK to WSMB, where he had one of the greatest talk shows. If you wanted to get in, you had to call in early. The show started at 8. You had to start the call at 7 to be able to get to his line. But I know how to get in, Bob, because you dial when you dial the phone. It's a 5-second or 10-second delay, so you dial all the numbers except one when they say,
exactly.
Talk to you later,
Right.
Bob. I hit my last number.
Right.
So he is one that's truly the city. I call him the golden voice. I wish I had that voice he had, Lord have mercy. And golden voice in the city. And I'm so happy that he agreed. I asked him last week to come on the show, and he said, yeah, he don't know how delighted I am that he come, that this city could hear his voice again. And we want him to keep on spreading that voice. We don't want his voice to be silent. We want it to keep on continuing. So, Bob, man, I'm so happy you that in the studio, Doc.
Thank you so much, Charles. It's good to be here, and I was excited when you invited me to come on the show. I really was thrilled. I mean, I had heard about this show for a long time, and I really didn't know that you had such a large organization here. Man, when I walked in here and I see all of these lights,
Okay.
and it's doing a great job. Yeah, but thank you. Yeah, I did have a pretty extensive career in the broadcasting industry. As you said, I started off at WYLD back in 1974. That was around the time of Dr. Daddio. Matter of fact, that was the first person I met when I came to the city.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Right, and I started back around Dr. Daddio days, and I stayed there until about 1976, and that's when I made the trek over to WBOK, which was right down the street. Right. WYLD was in the 2900 block of Tulane, and WBOK was 3300 block of Tulane Avenue. And I stayed there from 1976, and they made the transition to gospel in 1983. So I was blessed to be able to stick with them during that time. Mm-hmm. And while I was at WBOK, I was given a call about a talk show opportunity at WSMB. And I took that opportunity. Matter of fact, it was an engineer of the radio station that called me late at night and told me, you need to go over there. They have an opportunity for a talk show host, and I think he would do a great job. So I took advantage of that and gave the people a call, and lo and behold, they told me to come over for an interview, and they interviewed me, and they liked what they heard and gave me the opportunity, and I enjoyed that, man. That was really nice. Doing a talk show, and as you said, I was one of the only African Americans on that show at that time.
Right.
And as you remember, WSMB was not an easy place to get a job being African American.
Right.
Yeah.
You had some top guys. I think, if I'm correct, you had guys like Keith Rush.
Keith Rush was over there. Yeah, we had, who was Charles Travis. Was another man that was there. Andre Laborde.
Yeah, Andre Laborde.
Yeah, he was one that was over there. They had quite a few. Ron Hunter. You remember Ron Hunter? He also worked there.
Yeah, Ron Hunter.
Yeah, so we had a lot of big names over there.
Right. And that was the talk show. You got information that, whether it was good or bad, they shared it out to you. But I do know that when you went over there, a lot of African Americans, they started calling in. They got in on the talk code when you left.
Exactly.
WBOK, where you had quite a few followers from WBOK and YLD. They, you know, like everybody say you had that golden voice that, you know, it didn't have, nobody had a voice like Ron. So wherever you went, you had a certain audience that was following you, and but I know how to get into you every night.
Yeah, you had that secret. As you mentioned, there were a lot of callers. I had a lot of callers that said, Bob, I'm your first caller. Yeah. And they would call in and they would talk, and so a lot of times they would actually set the stage for the show.
Right.
You know, they would call in with certain events that were going on in the world, and we would start talking about that, and then it would go from that, and we would lead into other topics. But it was a very interesting show. I really enjoyed doing that. Matter of fact, I had a 6-hour show on Saturdays and Sundays.
Right.
6 hours, 6 to midnight on Saturdays and 6 to midnight on Sundays. So it was a long talk show, and that was around the time when we did not have the internet or anything, so all of my research had to be done at the New Orleans Public Library over on Causeway Boulevard. They had the little microfilm chips that you can actually go in and you can find whatever story you wanted to do a show on, and then you had to print it up from that little microchip. So it was, I had to produce the show and also host the show. So it was a really big job.
Big job.
Yeah, but it was a very enjoyable job. I enjoyed it and talked to a lot of people. Matter of fact, I had a broad audience, African Americans, Caucasians, you name it. Everybody would call the show.
Mr. Foss, it's time to take our great first break, but we're going to get into more things about remember when. We're going to do some old school today. We're going to go back. And y'all, I know some listeners probably never heard the name of Dr. Daddy.
Yes.
But anybody over 60, I said, might know Dr. Daddy. But anyway, we're going to take our first break. Remember, if you like to get in on this conversation, 504-341-8255. I'd like to hear from you. We'll be back.
Yo, Mob, kick it for me one time.
What is the world coming to? Seems like everyone is running from the truth. We gotta stand up and fight, walk into the light. We're the people, we can do it if we try.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Oh, how the time flies. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson. And can you believe that it has been 1 year since Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions hit your airwaves? We have interviewed authors, entrepreneurs, playwrights, musicians, and everyone in between, all to bring you the best in literary conversation. And we plan to do it again this year, but only better. So join us right here in the Literary Lounge each Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. See you there.
Monroe, Louisiana.
Yeah.
We are back. You are listening and you are watching Church Without Walls in the studio of the New Orleans Talk Network. We come to you every Monday morning, 11 to 12 Central Standard Time. Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams and Charles Stewart, your host. And our special studio guest today is the legendary Bob Frost. And we're so happy to have him sharing with us today. And our topic today, remember when. And Bob, before we get back where we was, before I forget, I want to thank Reverend Don for, what you mean, say, Charles, you need to call Bob. Say, I think he at home, so we need to get him over there. So I want to say, Reverend Don, baby, we love you. Thank you for reminding me putting my coat. But anyway, Bob, as you were saying before we went off for the station break, we were talking about the old shows, some of the old broadcasters.
Right.
That back in them days, a lot of young people, I would say if they under 50 may not remember, I think that came up with Dr. Daddy-O was one of the names.
Exactly, Dr. Daddy-O. You had Larry McKinley, and as a matter of fact, Larry McKinley was the host of the morning show on WYLD.
Right.
And he did a show called The Larry and Frank Show.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He did all of the voices himself.
Okay.
So he was Larry and he was Frank.
Okay.
So he did that show, and then you also had Shelley Pope.
Shelley Pope, yeah.
You also had Groovy Gus Lewis.
I remember Groovy Gus.
Yeah, Groovy Gus, and I think with Hank Sample. You remember Hank Sample?
Right.
Yeah, so we had quite a few big personalities that were on the radio back in those days. I came along in 1974. I think Larry's show had just about ended. And when I came along, George Vanette, your brother George, he was the person that was doing the morning show. So we had quite a few personalities. And back in those days, we used to do something called record hops.
Right.
Remember
Record
those?
Hop, yeah.
I come to the school, sometimes had a record.
Yeah, they would have the record hops, and they would feature the personalities, and we would go and do record hops at certain schools to raise funds for them.
Right.
And then they would give us a donation of a certain amount of money. So we had lots of things going on back then. Don't you remember Bishop Herman Brown? That was another big name. Yeah, matter of fact, Bishop Brown, I think you and I spoke about that last week. He was the person that put on a lot of those gospel concerts.
Yeah, a lot of gospel.
And we had them at the Municipal Auditorium and at the hall on Claiborne. What was the name of that? ILA? ILA, yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we had a lot of great things that were going on, and then we were talking about that you would have a gospel concert and you would pack the house.
Yeah.
And then you were asking me, does that still exist? And I was telling you with technology today, that has pretty much killed a lot of that because people can go on the internet now and go to YouTube and they can see any artist they want to see and see them perform. Matter of fact, if an artist has a concert, they'll put it on YouTube and you can go there and you can watch the video and everything. So a lot of those days have pretty much come and gone. But I mean, it's still popular, but it all depends on the artists and the venue and things of that nature. But yeah, back in the day, we had a lot of things going on. Some of the old stores, you remember Swagman's?
Yeah. Swagman's Supermarket.
Swagman's, yes. Then we had Canal Street. That was the big place to go.
Yeah, that's where everybody went.
It was a big deal to go down Rampart Street. You could go and get your tailor-made suit. Then a Stoner Break outfit came out.
Exactly. Right.
I remember it cost like $47.
Oh yeah.
Get the shirt and pants, and man, you was somebody, man.
Right. The only place that I remember that still exists downtown, and I don't know if it's on Rampart Street, Meyer the Hatter.
Yeah, it's Meyer Hatter still.
I think they're still there, but we had Krause and what was it?
Hyman.
Yeah, Gachos, and we had quite a few stores back in those days.
Porter Stevens,
yeah, all of those places on Canal Street.
I think one of our church members, I think that he still go. I know he go there and buy hats. I think he still go to Mile the Hat, and one of the places he go.
Right,
and
right.
he still go there and buy him a hat every now and then.
Right.
He do some of the things they used to do back in the day.
Yeah, a lot of those businesses were in existence, but of course we mentioned about technology, and that kind of ran a lot of people away. But Meyer the Hatter, that's a place that's still around. If you want a nice hat, you have to go to Meyer the Hatter to get it. So many things you can buy off the internet, and I think that's one you just can't, because people definitely want to try on their hats.
I remember they had a one shop on Rampart Street. You could go and get a process. The young people probably wouldn't know what a process is. They had the name process and the word comp.
Yeah.
That means you get your hair slicked down.
They call it fried, dried, and laid to the side.
Yeah, man. Well, I remember, man, I saved me up and got me one. Man, I went down, I got that James Brown look. Man,
Exactly.
I had wave.
Right.
Man, I had this young lady I was really crazy about. I wanted her to see how I looked.
Right, right.
And I went by a house, knocked on the door. She opened the door. She looked at me. And I said, look at me, baby. I said, I'm James Brown. And she said, well, we ain't going out tonight. I said, what you mean? She said, I ain't going out with no man that look better than mine.
Oh, yeah, they used to get that process. Matter of fact, they have those, their sisters and their mothers and everybody have them at the kitchen table with that straightening comb.
Yeah.
You know, and they would conk that hair up for you.
Yeah, they some people know how to mix it up. They take devil lye and mix it with grease some kind of
Osh
way.
potatoes.
Right, osh potatoes.
Yeah.
Oh, you're really going back, huh?
Take it back and mix it with that osh potato. That stuff be burning too, man.
Oh, yeah. Reverend Williams, did you have a process?
I had hair like the Mexican, curly.
Okay.
And I went had one did in my hair. And when I walked in the house, my mother looked at me. She said, "You'll lose it now." So.
Well, that was the big thing back then, you know, having your hair processed and everything, and now it's a totally different trend.
Yep.
Like you, Brother Stewart, you got all of yours cut off.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the going thing. I'm still blessed to have some up here. So.
Well, I still got a little bit too, but it's thinning out. It's thinning out.
Oh, yeah. Well, those were the days when we had that. And then after the process, and then think about what? 10, 15 years later, had the Jerry curls to come along.
Yeah,
I
got that too.
Yeah, the S curls and all of that. I tried the S curls and I tried the Jerry curls and all of that. But we really had some times back in the day there. Matter of fact, I got a little outfit on here. This is not really a leisure suit, but this is just like a shirt and a pair of pants to match it, you know. But that was another thing. We had the walking suits. So you walked around with your little hair processed and probably get you a little hat and cock it to the side. And you thought you were it. Oh, yeah. But we had some real good times back in those days. Matter of fact, there weren't too many places. That's why our concerts were so big back there, because there weren't too many places for blacks to go. The only places we really had to eat were places like Dookie Chase and Chez Helene and places like that. And then later on, it started getting to the point where it's that we were accepted at other places. But we had some real good times back in those days. It was really nice.
I want to let our listening audience know if they want to call in. I know the number may be confused. The local number, 504-341-8255. Toll-free number, 563-999-1808. You can call us. Maybe you can tell us you remember when you got it fried dye laid to the side. we would like to get your comment. Remember, this is your show. This is the show I told you it was designed for you in mind. And give us a call. And we want you to know that we love you. And we're going to be talking about in our second half of the show, we're going to be talking about our churches. Churches then, yesteryear than the churches now. But I think we're going to take another break. And after we take a break, we're going to come back and we're going to get into the old landmark of the churches of yesteryear the church is then and the church is now. So you like to get in the conversation, you are welcome.
What is the world coming to? Seems like everyone is running from the truth. We just stand up and fight, walk into the light. We're the people, we can do it if we try. I know we can do it. Somebody ask me.
Happy Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned in to New Orleans Talk Network.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Here at Jones Insurance, your full-service agency, let us take care of all your insurance needs. We provide homeowners insurance, flood, rental, commercial, auto, and life insurance. Don't let the unexpected tragedy destroy your family's future. Here at Jones Insurance, 7603 West Bank Expressway, Monroe, Louisiana, 772. Contact Lois at 504-348-1492.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Make a change. And you can, if you only try, you definitely can do it. But I always believe it's time to make, for all of us to make a change. We are back. You are listening and watching Church Without Walls in the studio of the New Orleans Talk Network. Your community station. This is your program. This is your time to shine. 504-341-8255, the local number. Toll-free number, 563-999-1808. Our studio guest is the legendary Bob Frost, is sitting in with us today, and we're so happy to have him in the studio. Dr. William and Charles Stewart is your host. Bob, back in the old days, I know we have seen a tremendous change with our local churches, and I see some of the pastors, they broadcasting their promo. They say, this is a change. We change in generation.
Right.
And different one use different hook to get your attention. Some of them say, we do churches a different way now. This is the way we do church now.
Right, right.
So, Bob, in your days, I know you started off at a broadcast, I think, in gospel music.
Yes, I did play gospel music, correct.
And you have worked, you know, you have seen the trends. In the beginning of, you say years ago as a young man, take us back to those years, the way the churches operated those days.
Well, back in the days, we had traditional churches, whereas that they would sing the traditional songs, and then it started transitioning from traditional music to contemporary music.
Right.
And so now, whereas all you had was a piano, and say maybe, then they added the drums to it. Right. And then they went from that, and then they started adding percussions and all of this type of stuff. And instead of them having the Holy Ghost-filled services, you know, now they're getting to the point where they're doing more of a teaching ministry, whereas you don't hear much of the Holy Ghost-filled sermons. So churches have really changed now. And then you have a lot of churches, whereas you have the mega churches, right. Whereas you have a pastor of, say, maybe, let's say about 4 or 5 different churches, and he is the pastor over that church, and then he has his underlings, I guess we can call those, that are his overseers that actually pastor his local churches, but he is the big mega pastor of some of the churches. Now, back in the day, I remember we had Greater St. Stephen's Baptist Church. That was Reverend Paul S. Morton. He's a pretty big recording artist right now, but he still has his churches. I think he has one out in New Orleans East. I don't know if he still has the one on South Liberty, but yes, he do have churches in Atlanta. And then we had Reverend Freddie H. Dunn. Did I hear you mention something about him earlier? Yeah. That was the New Hope Baptist Church. So we had some pretty big churches back there, and of course Prophet Blake's church, right? Right, Greater New Home Baptist Church, New Home Baptist Church. So we still have a few.
Yeah, the Guiding Light.
Guiding Light. That was Reverend G.R. Washington. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I worked with all of those, and so we've had some pretty big spiritual leaders that were back around during those days. I think a lot of those have long gone. We had, who was that, Reverend A.C. Alexander? You remember him. He was one of the big civil rights people. And then you had... that
was Lil Zion. He Zion. No, Zion. I think it was Zion Church.
Right, and then we also had, back in those days... I'm trying to think of some of the other great Reverend. Well, I mentioned Alexander, Reverend Harvey. Yeah. He was the one that started the SCLC. SCLC. Yeah, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Right. Reverend Clay from out in the Jefferson Parish area. Right. Yeah. So churches, some of those churches are still around. But we hear a lot of talk about the big mega churches now. That is the big thing right now, is the mega churches and the big pastors who are pastoring those mega churches. And some of these churches have memberships of like about 5,000 people.
10,000. Some of them got 20,000.
Some of them have 20,000 people. You know, and the thing, well, back then, it was a big thing always of tithing. And which we still have that, but now it's to the point where it's that I don't know if I should say this, but some of your churches want to see your tax returns.
Well, that's true. I've heard that too.
Yeah, you know, they want to see your tax returns, and some of the churches now, from what I've heard, they even have ATM machines.
They got ATM machines.
Yeah, so that's a lot of your mega churches have that. That was something that we didn't have back in the day. Matter of fact, back in the day, in the churches, if you came to church, they wanted to make sure that you had a suit and tie on and you were all dressed up. But nowadays, you can go in there with a pair of jeans on and a T-shirt that's come as you are.
But see, they mix up the come as you are. They take that the wrong way. Come as you are, not necessarily talking about nothing physical as far as clothes. It's talking about your spiritual nature.
Exactly.
You know, when you go to church, The come as you are mean it doesn't mean you're a sinner. We know you're a sinner. Come as you are. And then once you get in the church, then you can be changed. But you can't clean a fish till you catch him.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So that's the way you were talking about the churches then and the churches now.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. Then we came in with our little suit and tie, and some people had on just maybe a shirt and tie. But now they can come in with the tennis shoes on and their jeans on, and and have a T-shirt on, and so it's totally different from when it was back in those days. And
back then you had pastors that could. They didn't have the education that some of the pastors have now. They didn't have schools for them to go to, but they could take a sermon and make a worm. Just look at that worm crawling on the ground and make a sermon out of it, and it could touch somebody. You had people really felt the Spirit back in those days. Baptism was held on a certain time when everybody went out there on that river, and they put pegs in there so nobody wouldn't get swept away, and they would baptize you in that river. But you don't have none of that going on. We have the pools inside the church now, which that's not a problem. But instead of it becoming a vocation, it has become an occupation.
Exactly.
You see.
Oh, yes, you are so right about that. Yeah, it's to the point where a lot of people are getting into the ministry for business. And it's not really supposed to be a business. It actually is supposed to be, if you are going to be a minister, you should be called.
Right.
And so a lot of people are not called, and they just go in there. I can remember back in the day when I was working at WBOK, and some of the ministers would come to the station and cut their commercials, and they would have these big revivals. And revivals back then last, about 2 weeks?
A week.
A week, 2 weeks. And man, and the preachers would come in there, and I would look at them, and they would say, man, I had them packed in there last night. Man, I had me a $10 line, I had me a $50 line, I had me a $100 line, and man, they were coming in there just throwing that money on the floor.
You like money coming, huh?
Oh yeah, they saw that money coming, but that's the way it was back in the day. But now it is, it's totally changed. They are getting to the point, as you mentioned, a lot of them are educated, and they have all type of methods to try to get them in the church, and looks like it's working if you look at the memberships they have.
Oh, yeah, right. What you got right now is that people are looking for the word, somebody to give them a word that will help them to live a life. But to me, and this is just me speaking, it's my opinion from some of the things that I see, you're not ministering to the whole man. You're only ministering to the physical man. You got to minister to the physical and the spiritual man. One complements the other.
Exactly.
You know, if you feed me physically, I'll get strong.
Right.
But if you don't feed me spiritually, I'll be weak.
Exactly.
Because that inner man is on the inside of you, and that's what's holding up that flesh.
Right.
You know, and so people are looking at the fact that because this person is a good speaker, doesn't mean that he's a good preacher.
Right.
You know, and I've heard some things. There was a minister that came to the church one time, and I mean, he preached, and he had my attention.
Right.
So, but he said something that didn't
register.
Didn't register. And so when the service was over, I went up to him, I shook his hand, I said, man, I said, you have my attention. I said, you really preach. But, he said, you got a but. I said, yeah. He said, you said something that I didn't understand. He said, what was that? I said, you said, I heard. He said, stop right there.
Okay.
I said, but I haven't finished telling you my statement. I haven't finished my statement. He said, say it again. I said, you said, I heard. He said, stop right there. Okay. I was like, but I still haven't finished my statement. He said, let's try it one more time. I said, you said, I heard. He said, stop right there. I said, I heard it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say I read it. I didn't say I studied. I didn't say it was given to me. I heard it, and I've been using it ever since.
Oh.
And so at that point, in my mind, I was like, everything that's coming across that pulpit ain't true.
Right.
You
Right.
see? So I'm getting some coming from the pulpit, and I'm getting some truth. But I have to be knowledgeable enough to discern, and if I hear something, I need to go back and study it and see, did the preacher actually say the truth, or he just saying something that's to mesmerize me.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because you got a lot of stuff that goes on in the church that didn't go on back then. All the preachers got then was probably a little cake or a dinner or something like that. But today, most of your ministers are looking at 40,000, 44,000, 50,000, 100,000.
Yeah.
You know, Charles can validate something. I think me and him was talking about one day. A minister was getting like 40,000, a year, and the other minister told him there was no money. He said, "What you mean?" He said, "Ask him for $7 a week."
Right.
And you figure $7 a week if you got 350 members.
Mm-hmm.
No, 3,000 members.
3,000. Well,
Yeah.
you got 3,000 members and you getting $7 a week. Do the math.
That's what they call the love offering. The love offering.
You don't need a salary.
Yeah.
Just the other day, I was finding out that I found out that if a minister incorporate his ministry, then he don't have to pay taxes.
Exactly.
But he's got to be incorporated.
Right.
And his ministry, they don't pay it to him like they wouldn't pay it to Reverend Williams. They pay it to Reverend Williams Incorporated, Reverend Williams Ministry Incorporated.
And he's considered to be a non-profit,
a non-profit organization. That's
and
right.
so he don't have to
How
pay
you
tax.
think that? I'm gonna tell y'all how that happened. We're gonna take our last break, and when we come back, we're gonna finish up the conversation about the church yesteryear and the church now. We'll be back.
Yo, Mob, kick it for me one time.
What is the world coming to? Seems like everyone is running from the truth.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Hello, this is Dr. Glenda E. Williams.
This is Charles Stewart.
Dr. Anthony Williams.
And I want to encourage you to join Church Without Walls every Monday morning from 11 a.m. to 12 noon.
And we want to encourage you to promote God's plan and not man's plan.
Don't you dare miss it.
We're back. Talk What You Know returns on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. We got a brand new co-host by the name of Bob B. And hey, that's me. Also, we got some new features. We're going to be giving away, have a weekly raffle of prizes. There are multiple ways for you to win, and there's a bevy of prizes. So we need you to come on back, join us on Wednesday mornings at 8 o'clock for Talk What You Know on the New Orleans Talk Network.
He had a mind to do things.
We are back. You are listening to Church Without Walls in the studio of the New Orleans Talk Network. We come your way every Monday morning, 11 to 12. And I'm going to say it like this same church, tell a neighbor, tell a friend to check us out on Monday and be a part of the show. We have in our studio today the legendary Bob Frost, our special guest. And today we've been talking about remember when. We started off talking about the Dr. Daddy-O, the Reverend Hammond Brown back in the old days, those that live in the state of Louisiana, especially New Orleans and Jefferson Parish would remember those days. And I know they remember Bob Frost. In the African American and the white community know Bob Frost. He's a legendary broadcaster, always say he had that legendary voice. He did a lot of commercials. Y'all didn't know the face, but a lot of politicians who you see did commercials. He was the voice to a lot of those commercials that you hear on radio and on television. So he in the studio today. And we've been talking about the churches, remember when, and before we took the station break, we were talking about pastors that don't have to, they can incorporate their ministry, and they doesn't have to pay taxes. What's going on right now is that you stick like the Angelica, those pastors.
Right.
Those pastors are powerful man. If you notice anything that the president said, they agree with him.
Right.
Because all of the program and policy they are passing. And when you got, like a sermon came over the pulpit yesterday about the pastor say, I agree with what President Trump is saying, but I don't agree with his policy. And let me break that down and tell you what he meant about that. Trump is doing what his people elect him to do.
Exactly.
35, 40%, what have you. He done exactly what they want him to do, so he not done no wrong.
Right.
And a lot of people criticize the Attorney General when he said you should obey the law of the land. And he right about that. You should.
Right.
The Bible says obey the law of the land. Now here is the where the trick come at. Obama made a law. Everybody had health care, but they didn't want to obey that law. So what he did, the first, if y'all noticed, when Donald Trump got in office, the first thing he did, he started overturning those laws.
Right.
So they put those laws in place that they wanted, and then they're going to say, we're going to obey the law.
Right.
Now, according to the Bible, that's correct. Is that right or wrong?
Exactly, that's true. You were supposed to obey them, but
what you got to look at also is that it's only 10 laws that were given to us, and that was the 10 Commandments.
Exactly.
Right.
But the Jews took that and turned it in. I think it's 367 laws that they turned it into. Now, the 10 Commandments. Only thing that you have with the 10 Commandments is that when you look at it, it's the 10 Commandments surrounds one word, one little 4-letter word. You know what that word is? Love.
True.
Now,
L-O-V.
yeah. Now, it didn't say for you to point out my sin. It said this is what you are to make them aware of what that sin is. Okay, so when he said, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not do this, all he's saying, if you love me, you won't do this to me. If you love me, you won't run with my wife. If you love me, you won't steal from me. If you love me, you won't kill me. So each one of those commandments is based around one word, which is love. Now, when you take and use the law to your advantage, you're using it out of context with what the law really means. And so people say, it's the law of the land. Okay, well, first thing you have to do is
Bible says you must obey the law.
He said, what it is, the law was for the good as well as it was for the bad.
All right. Let me ask you, okay, Reverend Williams, you leave out of here, and you go down the expressway doing 90 miles an hour. Suppose he pull you on the side and give you a ticket. You're not obeying the law of the land, so he's justified by writing you that ticket.
He's justified by writing me the ticket because they have placed laws within the governing body to restrict the right and the wrong. So when you're doing wrong, you're going against the law. You're gonna pay.
But the
when
point
you're doing right, you don't have to pay.
You have to have laws, though.
I agree with you. We have to have laws. But that's what I said.
The speed limit is 35. You must do 35.
Yeah,
and,
that's the law.
If you go over, then that's when you're going to get pulled over and get a ticket.
The point of it is Donald Trump right by what he doing, right or wrong?
Okay,
according to the Bible, he right about what he doing.
You've got laws that have been written by government, and it says you can do this, but then it comes back and say you can't do this except. So the laws and the literature are vindictive to what you can and what you can't do. And that's what creating a problem for people within the United States. Because people say, I have to obey the law because it was written by government official, and that's what they want us to obey.
Well, those are the people that you put in power. Okay, look at it like this here. If
You get what you vote
okay,
for.
when Obama came into power, how Obama get in power? He got in power because God, the same thing allowed. Now,
He
they
got
had
in
to
power
have-
because the people voted
The
him
people
into
voted
office.
for him. They elected
Right.
him as president, and
But-
that's how he got it.
But how likely it is 44% of the Caucasian community voted for him? That's almost it was America when you see as a
Because
young man.
people were looking for a
You
change.
never would have figured that would happen in your lifetime. That
Why-
40% of the white
why did
community
y'all-
would have voted for
Well, most of the
African-American.
time, people are voting for the lesser of two evils, and just
Exactly.
just what happened here, he was the lesser of the two evils. He was the best person for the job, so that's who the people gave the job to. And you got to give it to him. He did quite a excellent job as president of the United States. He had 8 years, and it was scandalous free. So
We were going into a recession
yes,
when Obama came in.
he brought us
He
out.
brought us out.
Yes. And now it looks like we're going back into it. If you, I
Everything
don't know if
again.
you watch Wall Street, but
Yeah.
I tell you, man, Wall Street is, I mean, you got one good day and then you got three or four bad days.
Yeah. So when you look at what you have, it's like you could even use the black race of people. 40 years we were getting to where we are now, and now we're going backwards.
Right.
We're going backwards.
But
Looks
why
like
is
we're
that
about
though?
to get out of time here, my friend.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. But why is that though, Dr. Williams?
Because you
And-
get
and,
you get what you vote for.
Huh?
You get what
Yeah,
you
you
vote
don't go
for.
vote. If you
Yeah.
don't go vote have consequences.
I agree. I agree.
A voteless people is a hopeless people.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
remember
you're
we
right.
used to say that all the time?
Yeah. Well, but anyway, we got to end this show. Looked like we were just finna get into some good stuff there, but the show coming to an end as seems like it always ends too fast. Like when you get to the discussion seem to heat up, and it's that time. So I always say, Church Without Wall, the hour is the fastest hour seen the mean show minutes go by so fast. But we thank our listening audience. We thank everyone for listening and watching. Any closing statement, Rev?
I'm good. I'm good.
Bob?
That's his favorite time. Listen, I want to thank you so much for having me on the show. I really had a great time, and hopefully we can do this again.
Oh, let me say this, y'all. There was a lady who sent me a text. She asked me the question, what was the difference between the church house, and the temple? So I did send you a text telling you, what you have to remember is that the church house is where you go every Sunday. The temple is your body.
Yeah,
You can worship out of your temple, or you can worship in the church house also.
right.
You want to know what purpose that religion plays. Religion is only a belief, what you believe in, what your faith is, and what's worked with you. If you have any more questions, I gave you my number. Call me, and I'll try and answer those questions for you. If you want to send something to the shore, send it to the shore to 7601 West Bank Expressway, and you can address it to either me or Charles, and we'll try and put it on the show and handle it for you right then.
We'll have an answer for you next week. And we thank everyone for listening and watching. As always, we leave by saying, there's no such thing as being half dead. If you're dead, you're dead. Thank you all. We love you. See you next week.
Kick it for me one time.
What is the world coming to? Seems like everyone is running from the truth. You just stand up and fight.
Our listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504